Have you ever wondered why some people seem uncomfortable around you, even when they say they love you? If you're an empath, you probably know this feeling all too well. Your sensitivity, your depth, and your ability to feel others so deeply are extraordinary gifts. But they can also stir something darker in the people closest to you. Envy. Empaths often shine like a mirror, reflecting back the truth of who others really are. While some embrace this light with gratitude, others feel threatened by it. Instead of celebrating the empath's gift, they quietly resent it. This hidden envy can turn love into confusion, leaving empaths drained, doubting themselves, and wondering what went wrong. This video explores why empaths trigger envy in people who only pretend to love them, how envy works in disguise, and, most importantly, how empaths can protect their light without dimming their gift. The hidden nature of envy. Envy is not always loud or obvious. In fact, most of the time it creeps into relationships quietly, disguised as care or even love. A partner, friend, or family member may believe they love the empath, but beneath their affection lies a painful truth. The empath's light makes them feel small. When someone lacks inner richness, they may unconsciously seek to diminish the empath rather than celebrate them. The empath's sensitivity and depth reflect back what others feel is missing in themselves. That reflection can be intolerable because it exposes emptiness or spiritual poverty. So instead of genuine love, envy takes root. Unlike jealousy, which wants to possess what another person has, envy goes deeper. It doesn't just want the empath's gifts, it wants to obscure or destroy them. This is why empaths often experience subtle put-downs, criticism, or mockery from people who are supposed to care about them. The wounded origins of empathy. To understand this dynamic, it helps to see where empathy often comes from. Many empaths did not grow up in environments where they were fully loved or accepted. Instead, they experienced conditional love, rejection, or emotional neglect. As children, they learned to survive by tuning into the feelings of those around them. Reading moods, softening their own presence, and carrying other people's emotions became their way of securing belonging. Over time, this survival strategy transformed into a profound gift, the ability to feel deeply for others. But this gift carries a shadow. Because it grew out of wounds, empaths often attract relationships where those wounds are reopened. They may unconsciously draw in people who want to drink from their sensitivity, but who secretly resent the very thing they are drawn to. The archetype of the wounded healer. In mythology and psychology, the wounded healer is someone who brings healing to others because they themselves have been broken. This archetype fits many empaths. Their pain gave them wisdom and compassion, but it also makes them vulnerable. People who are envious may sense this vulnerability and exploit it. They may come close to the empath, pretending to love them, when in truth they are feeding on their light. The empath becomes both a source of nourishment and a target of resentment. How envy manifests in relationships. Envy rarely declares itself openly. Instead, it hides in behaviors that seem small but slowly drain the empath's spirit. A partner might mock their sensitivity, calling them too emotional or too much. A friend might belittle their intuition or accuse them of overthinking. Family members may criticize them for caring too deeply or not being practical enough. At first, these comments may sound harmless, but over time they chip away at the empath's confidence. The message is clear. Their gift is not welcome. The envious person cannot bear the mirror the empath holds up to them, so they try to dim that mirror. For the empath, this is confusing and painful. They sense the unspoken hostility, but struggle to name it. They may even blame themselves, wondering if they are indeed too sensitive. The spiritual dimension of envy. Empaths embody something many people avoid, the vulnerability of the soul. Their presence makes it harder for others to escape their own emptiness. Envy is a defense mechanism against this truth. By mocking or devaluing the empath, the envious person shields themselves from their own spiritual poverty. This is why envy feels so poisonous. It is not just about comparison. It is about the fear of facing oneself. The empath becomes a living reminder of what the envious person lacks, and so they attack or diminish them. The language of dreams. For empaths caught in such relationships, their unconscious often speaks through dreams. They may dream of drowning. symbolizing the feeling of being emotionally drained by others. They may dream of receiving gifts that turn to ashes, representing false love, affection that promises nourishment but delivers emptiness. These dream symbols reflect what is happening on a deeper level. The empath gives, but what they receive in return is hollow. Projection, the root of envy. At its core, envy is about projection. The envious person projects their own weakness, emptiness, or insecurity onto the empath. They cannot face their own inadequacy, so they turn the empath into the problem. This projection is like a serpent. It slithers silently into the relationship, wrapping itself around the empath in subtle ways. It constricts, drains, and suffocates until the empath feels powerless. Why empaths must set boundaries? Because empaths are so open, they often struggle with boundaries. They want to give, to heal, to love without limits. But without boundaries, they become easy prey for envy. Boundaries are not walls. They are healthy lines that preserve the empath's inner light while still allowing connection. By learning to say no, to step back, and to refuse false love, empaths protect themselves from being consumed. Setting boundaries is not cruelty. It is self-honoring. It allows empaths to keep their gift intact rather than letting it be drained by those who do not value it. Stopping the cycle of sacrifice. One of the most important lessons for empaths is to stop playing the role of the sacrificer. For too long, they have absorbed others' shadows, hoping to heal them through love. But this self-sacrifice only feeds the cycle of envy and resentment. When an empath refuses to take on what is not theirs, envy loses its power. The envious person can no longer project their shadow onto them. Instead, the responsibility is returned where it belongs, becoming a flame, not a sponge. An empath's gift is not to absorb others' darkness, but to shine as a flame. A flame gives light, but does not soak up what surrounds it. Some people may still resent that light, but the empath no longer allows themselves to be diminished. True love does not envy. It celebrates, uplifts, and shares joy in another's gift. By refusing false love and guarding their essence, empaths open the door to genuine relationships where their sensitivity is valued rather than resented. The path of individuation. Ultimately, the empath's journey is one of individuation, the process of becoming their true self. This means learning to carry both the gift and the wound with wisdom. It means refusing to dim their light just to make others comfortable. On this path, empaths discover that their sensitivity is not a curse, but a conscious gift. It allows them to bring depth, authenticity, and healing into the world, but only if they protect it with boundaries and discernment. Conclusion: protecting the light. Why do empaths trigger envy in people who pretend to love them? Because their very presence exposes what others lack. Their light makes others confront their shadows. And for those unwilling to face themselves, envy becomes easier than growth. But the empath is not doomed to suffer in silence. By recognizing the signs of envy, setting boundaries, and refusing false love, they can preserve their gift. They can choose relationships that honor their essence instead of draining it. In doing so, empaths transform from wounded healers into conscious healers, no longer victims of envy, but carriers of light. Their journey is not about dimming themselves, but about learning to shine wisely, even in a world where some will envy rather than celebrate them.